Okay, we're rolling.
This is an interview at Cambridge Public Library, Cambridge, New York, 16th of April 2004, approximately 2:30 p.m. Interviewers are Wayne Clark and Mike Russert. Could you give me your full name, date of birth, and place of birth, please?
Joseph F. Lentz, June 1st, 1924, Sand Lake, New York.
Okay. What was your educational background prior to entering service?
3 years high school.
Okay. Do you remember where you were and your reaction when you heard about Pearl Harbor?
Well, I was down on the farm on the turnpike. I was pretty upset.
How did you hear about it?
Oh boy, probably radio.
Okay. Did you enlist in the service, or were you drafted?
No, I was drafted.
You were drafted, okay. Where did you go for your induction?
Camp Dix.
And where did you have your basic? Was it there also?
No, Camp Bland in Florida.
Was this the first time you've really ever been away from the Cambridge area?
Yes, it was.
How did you feel about that?
Lost.
Was there anyone with you that you knew at all, or?
Well, yes and no. I had met Roy Moses and Eddie Guyden.
Who were both from Cambridge area?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Did you keep much contact with home through letters and?
Oh, yes. My mother wrote to me every day.
Must have missed you. Okay. How long were you in basic training?
18 weeks.
Did you receive any specialized training at all, or?
No. Just basic. Heavy weapons.
Okay. I noticed you trained mainly on the heavy machine gun.
Yes. And 81 and 60 millimeter mortar.
Oh, okay. So all the heavy weapons then. All right. When were you assigned to a unit?
You mean overseas?
Oh, you were assigned overseas, so you went over as a replacement?
Yes,
Okay.
bulge replacement.
All right. Did you go over when you went over? Did you go over in a convoy or a single
Yes,
ship?
it was rumored a 48 ship convoy.
Okay. And where did you land?
Le Havre, France.
All right. And then you were sent to the front as it were into a replacement camp?
Yes, Givet, Belgium.
Okay.
When was that? What month?
January 1945.
Okay.
Okay, so you came in toward the end of the bulge.
Yes.
Is that where you went?
We went to Charlesville, I guess, France, and joined the 28th Infantry Division, 109th Infantry, 2nd Battalion, Company H.
Okay. What kind of weapons were you carrying at that time, or were you with a heavy? Did you go into a heavy weapons unit?
I don't think we'd been assigned a weapon yet.
Did you have winter gear?
Yes. Yes.
You have everything, boots, coat, everything?
Yes.
Okay. When you went into the 109th, where did they assign you?
They lined us up. There was 50 of us, I believe, and the first 25 went to the machine guns, and the last 25 went to 81 millimeter mortars. I happened to be one of the first 25.
Okay. So you worked with the heavy machine gun, that's the water-cooled one. Did
Yes.
you ever have problems with it? Or
Yes.
Could you tell us about some of those?
Well, after firing on a house in Colmar, running 5 belts through, I boiled all the antifreeze out of the can and the hose and around the gun barrel, and it wouldn't automatic fire. You pull a bolt and one round at a time.
Did you ever have any other problems with it?
No.
What did you have to do after that? You had to replace the
Water. It evidently didn't hurt the gun any. Rifling was good as new.
When did you go into first combat, and what were your feelings?
Well, scared. Just a few days after January 20, I was in the right longitude and latitude to get a star for the bulge, but I really didn't do any fighting there.
Okay, so you're just outside of that, or on the edge of that area.
Right, went to Holden, what they call Holden positions in the Vosgres Mountains, wherever they are.
Okay. Well, from there on, what did you do? Tell us your story of...
I'll read it to you.
Well, it's up to you, or you could just refer to the notes, whichever you prefer
It
to
probably
do.
won't take me 20 minutes to
If not,
go from A to Z.
Want to do that?
Well,
Okay,
it's
if
up to
that's
you.
how you feel comfortable.
All right. I was a farmer, not a fighter. My stepfather got pneumonia in September 1943, and I had to quit school and take care of the farm. I was deferred 2 times for 6 months. After he recuperated, I was drafted. Not 32 points for 2 people. I left Cambridge July 14, 1944, going to Camp Dix, New Jersey. From Camp Dix, I went by railroad to Camp Blandon, Florida, an infantry training camp for 18 weeks. A 10-day delay en route back to Camp Dix, Camp Meade, Maryland, Camp Kilmer, New Jersey, and Xmas weekend aboard SS Volendam, a Dutch ship, wooden railer, headed overseas, triple loaded. Early December 26, we left a pier in New York for someplace overseas. We were not told where we were going. It was rumored we were in a 48 ship convoy. Ship George Washington ahead of us, a freighter on starboard side with airplane parts, surf washing over them. I don't remember who was on port side or no one behind us. Last ship, I guess. It took us 15 days and 14 nights, or vice versa, zigzagging across the Atlantic to Southampton and Portsmouth, England. We stayed during the day until darkness. Once attacked by German sub, 3 British corvettes guarded the convoy. They dropped several 55-gallon barrels of depth charges, and all of us nearly tipped our ship over, all going to port side. My job was operating a 20-millimeter cannon near bridge and radar station with another guy. Our captain wouldn't expel any rounds. Other ships had gunnery practice. I never shot a gun that big. Also, I was seasick for 52 hours. Being triple loaded, someone owned your hammock for 16 hours, so I tied myself down on the deck so not to be washed overboard. One day I saw 3 men washed overboard, and ship never slowed. Seemed too bad. Also, nearing in England, we sighted fighter aircraft. Thank goodness they were ours. Being near a radar tower, the officer was in talking distance. Arriving early a.m. in Southampton, we dropped anchor, leaving under cover of darkness for Le Havre, France. Still zigzagging, around floating mines across the English Channel. We disembarked ship in a shallow water in darkness to empty warehouse. After daylight, we walked to train 40 and 8 boxcars. From here we went up to Givet, Belgium, to a replacement depot to be assigned to a certain division. On the way at stops, there were food dumps. I got a frozen can of tomato juice and got deathly sick. We stayed a few days in Givet, 10 below zero at night, sleeping in buildings with no heat, and for mattresses, dead GIs from the bulge. One day while in chow line with our mess kits, a Jerry plane went over and we took cover. Final day, a 6x6 truck took us to Charlesville, where I joined 28th Infantry Division, 109th Infantry Regiment, 2nd Battalion, H Company, Heavy Weapons. I became number 3 man in a squad of 7 or 8. All had been killed or wounded in bulge fighting. From Charlesville, we went to holding positions in Vosgres Mountains. While there one day in daylight, 2 men down in the valley walked up through. Our sergeant was called and we were told not to fire on them and give away our position. After a few days we left this area and went to a village. January 31st I was picked to be a witness to an execution. There was 17 of us. It was Private Sloviks and 2 others. At the time I didn't know who he was. Later at home I saw the movie and bought the book. The Army took all kinds of protection of guarding our identity, phony people, and serial numbers. He refused to fight. To this day there is controversy why he had to be killed. The only man executed since the Civil War. The other 2, I think, were German soldiers wearing GI clothes. While walking through a French village, one of our own riflemen shot number 2 man accidentally through the back of the head. Our squad took his dog tags and personal things to our company captain, and we buried him in a cemetery there. I became number 2 man. On or about February 7th, we started the attack on Colmar, France. We drove in Jeep convoy until an 88 German shell landed in ditch opposite Jeep, killing 3 of the 5 of us. Jeep driver and I lived. Also got pinned down by small arms fire. Someone knocked out machine gun nest and proceeded on foot with her gun down the vineyard rows. Upon seeing city, we could see tank trap, a ditch 40 feet wide and 40 feet deep. It was rumored prisoners and displaced persons dug this by hand all around the city. It was a big city. Our sergeant, Daniel Jackson, picked a spot to set up our machine gun, covering one street, and we dug 2 holes each side of gun for our cover. Nothing happened. The next day our kitchen caught up to us and reported hot chow across street. I stood guard on gun while number 1 man went. He came back and I started to cross Double Street and all hell let loose. A German burp gunner up street got about 5 burps at me. I hit the ground and crawled across street. Not hit, so got hot chow. To this day do I know if our gun got him. Later, next day, we saw windows open and shot on a house across street. It was a nice house. Our sergeant said, "Fire on house." I run 5 belts through our gun, running out of water. Our lieutenant came out of a factory house just above with over 200 German prisoners. He asked for cover. No automatic fire. I shot a time or two, but it did the job. Later days, we searched house. We lost another man house search, and dead bodies piled up like cordwood. After Colmar, we went for complete 2 weeks rest. I don't remember only the day coming and the day we left. Our next combat was Sliden, Germany. With gun over our heads, we went across the river, socks frozen to my feet. The Germans controlled the high ground and lobbed artillery and mortar shells into a little town. The house we went to, I met a soldier all shot up that I'd seen in Camp Kilmer, New Jersey. We were there all day under heavy fire, being relieved the next day. It was a heavy booby-trapped area. Going out, our feet were placed a step at a time. Back to old location, same foxholes. I had 2 15-hour passes, included travel time by 6x6 truck, Viviers, Belgium, and Paris, France. When war ended, I was at a place named Pottersbach, Germany. Our job was keeping displaced persons from leaving train when trains stopped. Later, May, June, July, during occupation, we were in Mannheim, Germany. I had one of few from basic training a GI license, driving a Jeep, patrolling 10 miles on the Reich Autobahn. No one except military were on Autobahn. I think our general volunteered for invasion of Japan, so we were headed home. We went back to France to Camp Old Gold and Camp Chesterfield, tent camps. Finally boarded a New Liberty ship, Mormac Port. Only 8 days coming home. Disembarked ship at Camp Shanks up Hudson River. We ate steak on plates, some change, and 30 days at home. While I was home in Cambridge, the atomic bomb was dropped and war ended. I didn't have enough points to get out of service, so I went back to Camp Shelby, Mississippi, where 28th Division was located. I was made corporal. The division went back to Pennsylvania National Guard. I was to sew on buck sergeant stripes and ordered to Camp Swift, Texas, to the 2nd Infantry Division, Indian Head. Here no one knew me as anyone except Sergeant Lentz. I carried on my duties until my folks got me out through the Red Cross. December 5th, 1945, I was discharged and by train headed home to farm in Cambridge. My medals are Infantry Combat Badge, European Ribbon with 3 bronze stars, Good Conduct Medal, Occupational Medal, American Theater Medal, Victory Medal, Croix de Guerre. This is my story, which I should have taken notes 59 years ago. 33 years later, I found out I had received the Bronze Star, and it was mailed to me from St. Louis, Missouri. End of story.
With the Private Slovik execution, how did you feel being there? What were your reactions seeing this?
Just glad that I wasn't in the firing squad.
This was before you even went into combat.
Well, we'd been in the holding positions.
Yes,
there.
right. Yes. So, did you feel that he should have been executed? Did you ever?
Well, I didn't know what it was. I wasn't told a thing.
How about later on when you thought about it?
I bought the 28th Infantry vision book, and it's not in that book,
Hmm.
which seems strange to me. I think somebody made a boo-boo there. Eisenhower, I believe at the time, was back here in the States talking to Roosevelt. I think if Ike had been over there, I don't think he'd ever been shot. That's just my opinion.
Yeah. One of the stories you mentioned in the form you filled in, you said you had a Jeep driver in your squad who you thought was psychic.
Yes. His
So
last name was Stuart, and he was from Indiana. One day we were ordered, I think, to get a Jeep trailer load of water. And we were on our way towards, I think, Worms, or how you pronounce it, Germany. And all of a sudden, he whipped that Jeep around a U-turn. Let's get out of here. We no more and got back a ways, and that whole juries had that road all zeroed in on. They just let loose. Sure, we'd been hurt at least, if not killed.
Did you ever, were you aware of any of the concentration camps at all?
No. Nowhere's near, evidently.
Did you ever have contact with the Russians?
No. I think the 28th, being so beat up during the bulge, they give them a break. We really never did any fighting across the Rhine. When we got to the Rhine, we went to that complete rest camp and two passes and just was around in case it was another breakthrough.
How did you feel? You said you were back here. How did you feel when you read or heard about the atomic bombs being dropped?
Oh, relieved. Because I'm sure we were supposed to have been one of the 3 divisions at Normandy, but the last minute, 28th was pulled off and the 27th was put online, so I'm sure Normandy Dakota, being a major general, he wanted to be first to Japan.
Did you ever use the GI Bill?
Well, I don't know. Agricultural school, I believe, in Salem. I did.
Did you ever use the 5220 Club?
No.
No? Okay. Join any veterans organizations? When
Cambridge here, American Legion for 2 years and dropped out. And then 1984, when we lived in Amenia, I joined the VFW in Dover Plains, which I'm a lifetime member.
Okay. Did you ever stay in contact with anyone that was in service with you?
Well, Roy Moses
Okay, you're local.
and my Sergeant Jackson from Sugar Grove, Ohio, I looked up once, but in civilian life we had nothing in common, so that was it.
How do you think your time in the service changed or affected your life?
Well, I think I was more worldwide, you know. Liked to travel, made me like to travel.
You think you would have ever gotten out of Cambridge if it wasn't, to travel around?
I don't know. My half-brother here in Cambridge don't travel.
Could you hold the photograph of yourself up and...
Sure.
Just dropping the book off.
Now, where and when was that taken?
Probably December, when I was delaying route 40, early December 44.
Okay, got it.
Okay.
All right, well, thank you very much.